Hello football fans and welcome back to Projectatron, the prediction site with a difference. Today we are focusing on the big NFC West clash between the current leaders, the Arizona Cardinals, and the reigning world champions, the Seattle Seahawks. Cardinals go to Seattle. Rory, what can you tell us?
Well, it's allegedly the hardest stadium in the NFL to go to and get a result. It's so noisy. Seattle play hard. Their defense, gets a little more slack than the others in the league. But at the same time, Seattle haven't been particularly good this year. I mean, Russell Wilson has been terrific. I think Wilson and Lynch have been great. It's just a pity that Russell Wilson has nobody really to throw to that's not called Doug Baldwin. And he's not a big player. He'll get you 7-8 yards maybe when you're 3rd and 10.
Yeah.
And that's about it. And now they're coming up against one of the absolute top defenses in the NFL. Now, last year when Arizona came here, they ended up just narrowly losing the game. They got themselves into a big hole at the start because Carson Palmer threw a few interceptions early on, but they clawed their way back and they came to within, I think it was a field goal of actually winning the game. And that was with Carson Palmer at quarterback. Now obviously he's gone down with an injury, he's gone for the year, and they brought in Drew Stanton, who's not as good a quarterback, but I think the team has stepped up from last year. They're better than last year, they're playing better than last year. The only difference is they've got a new quarterback for this game. I can see Arizona making this really, really difficult game for Seattle. Seattle's run defense is going to have to step up to stop Ellington, who's not a superstar, but he's kind of on the cusp of becoming a really, really crucial player in this league. With all that said and done, while Arizona are the top seed in the NFC at the moment, their schedule is pretty horrendous because they're playing the rest of the NFC West and they've got a few other fixtures thrown in there. I can still see them dropping 1 or 2 games, and this looks like a game that they could drop. This will be a very tight game, very low scoring, a lot like Arizona and Detroit last week. But I think the Seahawks are just going to edge it out just a little bit. Because last week, where the Seahawks were weak against the Chiefs, they're kind of strong against the Cardinals in all their matchups. So I can see Seattle just edging this one, despite how well the Cardinals have been playing. Just to make the division that little bit more competitive. I still think the Cardinals are going to get the top seed, but I don't think they're going to win here today.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think the problem for the Cardinals is that Drew Stanton is very streaky, and he's shown that in the times that he's been asked to step in this season. He's very streaky, and his biggest weapon is his arm. He's a big arm, and he can throw deep ball really, really well. The problem is the one team who you don't get deep ball opportunities against is the Seattle Seahawks, and especially in Seattle. This is going to be a close game. The problem is the Cardinals will need to score 3 touchdowns to win this game. And they're not going to score 3 touchdowns because their main weapon for touchdowns is the deep ball to Floyd or to John Brown.
Or to Larry Fitz when he's fit.
Or to Larry Fitz, presuming he's fit. But they've been using him a lot more as a possession receiver. But sure, he can get deep, absolutely. But the problem for them is that you don't get those opportunities against the Seahawks. And the Cardinals are not set up in the same way that, for example, the Chiefs are, where they will grind you down, take 40 minutes off the clock and run the ball down your throat time and time again. Andre Ellington, you're right, he's a very good player, very talented, but he's not a gut runner. He's not a downhill guy who's just going to be able to run the ball straight down your throat play after play after play. That's not how he operates, and it's not how the Cardinals have been using him. The Seahawks, however, are going to be able to do what the Lions couldn't do last week, which is run the ball. If Detroit had any sort of competent running game, it's not that they were shut down by the Cardinals so much last week as they have no talented, fit running backs. They kept on giving the ball to Theo Riddick on short yardage when Joyke Bell played all of last year as the short yardage complement to Reggie Bush. Now, as a play calling option, sure, that's okay. You can say we're trying to split the carries between our guys so that we can use Joyke Bell on 1st and 2nd down. But if you've got a guy who's built for 3rd down, like Joyke Bell, use him. Now, that was the Lions' problem. The Seahawks don't have that problem because they have Marshawn Lynch. And he showed last week, as he's been showing for the last 4 weeks, that he is probably still, I would say, still the best running back in the league at the moment.
I'd go for Charles, but yeah, Lynch is not that far behind anyway.
Okay,
if that's the case.
Would we say they're the top 2, given
Absolutely,
that Peterson is not in the league?
And McCoy's just dropped off from last year,
Yeah,
so yeah.
Absolutely. And so, Seahawks are going to be able to run the ball. They're going to be able to get Wilson scrambling for 1st downs. They won't be able to throw it deep, and they won't be able to throw to the really interesting Wilson to Wilson combination that's spread up over the last couple of weeks, where Russell Wilson's thrown to the tight end Luke Wilson. It's really interesting, but they won't be able to do it this week because the secondaries in the Cardinals secondary or safeties rather in Cardinals secondary are excellent, and it won't be a problem that the Cardinals secondary is so good because Russell Wilson won't need to use them and will prefer not to use them. It's going to be a low scoring affair. I can't see the Cardinals scoring more than, I don't know, maybe 14? Maybe? I'd be encouraged to say they're going to lose it by 10 or more points. I think probably 2-score game definitely for the Seahawks. And that's going to bring the division nice and tight.
I get the feeling that the game will be won by whoever wins the turnover battle in this one because it's going to be so low. And one of these defenses, which are both amazing, are going to make is going to make a play.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And Russell Wilson does not turn the ball over very often.
Exactly.
So
Drew Stanton
happens to, yes. But that might just be him being rusty. But he has thrown a few interceptions this year whenever he's been in the team. So yeah, that's kind of why I would feel Seattle are going to win.
Okay, so we're both saying Seahawks. What are their projections?
Full house. Projectron reckons that the Seattle are going to crush Arizona. Oh, it's going to be a massacre. Seattle are going to score 10 points in every game. Indeed, 2 defensive touchdowns here from Wagner and Sherman both picking up pick sixes. And Marshawn Lynch is going to run the ball in once and receive for in blown coverage for a 5-yard touchdown. It's quite horrible. It's atrocious. Drew Stanton is having a horrible game. He gets subbed out by Logan Thomas, who has a nearly as horrible game. It's just blood everywhere. This is nasty. Seattle win 40-3.
Okay.
Don't see that happening.
I don't see it happening either, but geez, if it does, we need to buy projection on a new fan or something.
Well, yes, we do.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so there you have our predictions. We are going with a clean sweep for the Seahawks. Rory and I are both saying they'll take it by a slightly narrow margin, but Projection is going for something of a blowout. 40-3 for the world champions. They'll get their NFC West back on track. Now, don't forget to join us for our NFL Podjectatron, and our Premier League preview sees Arsenal face Manchester United. We'll have our Premier League Podjectatron up as well. You can check it out all on the website. See us on iTunes, YouTube. We look forward to talking to you next week, but until then, enjoy the football.